Welcome to Infinity Sports. I'm Wayne G. Joined as always by Sully. What's up?
Hey, how we doing, bro? How we doing?
Not too bad. Week 2 of our new intro. I'm loving it.
Oh, I'm loving it too. Honestly, it's where it's at, man. I dig it.
Definitely appreciate anybody. If you are listening to the show, I know a lot of people like to listen to it in the car on the way to work or on their way home or whatnot. We certainly appreciate you streaming, downloading. Obviously, make sure you like us, review us on wherever you listen to podcasts. But if you want some bonus content, definitely check out YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. All the shows, we do video shows. So it's not just an audio show. You can actually see a lot of graphics that we bring up. You can see a lot of videos that we bring up. And we try to bring up more and more every show. And coming up this Saturday, we've got our NFL mock draft, which is basically going to have 32 videos about prospects. We're going to have graphics and all kinds of – it's going to be nuts. So,
yeah, it's a big episode. It's my first mock draft of the year, so it'll be a fun one. You know, it's always fun to bust out these early mock drafts because so much changes throughout the process. But nonetheless, man, I'm excited to get it done. And you know, like you said, you've got a lot of big graphics coming up for it, so it should be a really good episode.
I'm really looking forward to it, and obviously then we'll have to revisit it when we get closer to the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Draft how right or wrong we were, which we're going to do a little bit of today, by the way. So anyways, if you are listening, definitely check out the videos as well. Like and subscribe when you go to YouTube. It helps out the show tremendously. Visit the website, www.infinitysportspodcast.com. Links to everything right there. And, of course, on Twitter, we're at SportsInfinity5. Facebook and Instagram were at Infinity Sports Podcast. So follow us, like us. It all goes really towards helping out the show.
For sure.
Big show today. We've got NFL, a lot of NFL stuff.
Huge show today, honestly.
NBA. But obviously, we're going to kick things off with a game that we like to call You Don't Know Your Favorite. I don't have the video intro for it. I'm actually working on a new intro for that, too. But so it's You Don't Know Your Favorite. And today we're doing TV shows. In the past, we've done movies. I felt like the more I thought about this, movies are so much easier because TV shows have so many episodes.
So much easier. TV shows, there's so much more. It's so more in depth. There's so much more content that you can ask on. It's insane. So yeah, this should be a tough one, honestly.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, A Few Good Men, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't think we've done that one yet, but that's one of my all-time favorite movies. And that movie is like an hour and 45 minutes, hour 35 minutes. Seinfeld, which is the show I'm doing, is basically 150 hours of content. So
yeah,
it's trying to remember all that
stuff. Good one.
And I know you chose The Office. Initially, you had Game of Thrones.
Yes. Well, I figured you were saying that you were at a disadvantage with Seinfeld, and I had the advantage having Game of Thrones, even though I think Game of Thrones is probably the most in-depth show ever. I decided, you know what, I'll switch it to The Office because it has more seasons and more episodes, so more content, so therefore even the playing field a little bit. So, you know, that's why I went with the late switch for you.
And it works out because I actually like The Office as well. So it's like I knew a lot of the stuff that I'm asking you is stuff that some of it I know.
Yeah.
Dylan Moran joins us from his show, What's Up, You Hoes? What's going on, Dylan?
Hey, what's going on, Dylan?
On and off the field. I don't know why I spaced on it. All right. So do you want to go first or want me to go first? We got 5 questions each.
I can go first.
All right. Shoot.
All right. I'll start off with, I think, an easy one. What kind of car does Jerry buy his dad?
A Cadillac, yeah. Yeah, piece of cake.
No.
Oh, yeah. And so, and then I remember that his dad, they think that he embezzled the money, and so he sells it to the guy with a pen that writes upside down, and then Jerry buys it back from him, but the guy crashes it into the swamp. All right, so cool. This one I think is an easy one as well to kick things off for The Office. Is what college did Andy go to?
Cornell. Damn, I almost spaced for a
second. I thought you said it like 27 times in those series.
I know. I almost spaced for a second. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're 1-1, and we're starting. I have my questions getting harder as we go along. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, they may. I'm not really sure. I think this one's probably an easy one. Who actually wins the contest?
So this is a tricky one because they mention it in the final season, the second to last episode. They're on the plane. The plane's going down. It's George says that he won. Now, technically, it was a tie between George and Jerry, but George says that he won because they both did their business the same night because they are both seen sleeping at the end of the episode. So it was a tie between the two of them, but George told Jerry that he didn't so that he would win the bet.
I have Jerry as the winner. So I don't know.
How do you figure Jerry?
My answer key says Jerry is the winner.
Because in the second to last episode of the whole series, they're crashing, and George says, I lied about winning the contest.
Yeah, George says he lied, so he didn't win.
Oh, that's a fucking trick question. That's because technically, yes, Jerry won, but George said he won, so it's, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think you should give that to me because
I don't know. I think you
wasn't-
just got yourself a little
No.
confused.
the winner was not announced in the episode, the contest. So
I
the fact
know,
that I had to go all the way to a different episode. To
Hey,
figure out.
I know. Trust me, I know that it was a trickier one. All right, I'll give it to you just for shits and giggles. You know,
Because I didn't know the whole story behind it.
yeah, you just got it wrong. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of getting a little bit harder,
Right.
in the office we have Sensitivity Day because Michael decided to reenact the Chris Rock, stand-up segment of his stand-up performance.
Don't touch a black man radio.
So they have to have Sensitivity Day. When they're having Sensitivity Day, they all have to put cards in their head about what nationality they are, Jamaican, Italian, whatever it is. What card does Michael put on his head?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to say supermodel.
No, he was Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Kelly got Indian.
Yeah, that I do know. All right, my next one. Where's it at? Here we go. All right. Now, what movie are they actually trying to see when they get stuck waiting for the table at the Chinese restaurant?
That's a good question because I feel like every third or fourth episode they were going to see a movie, and it was always like some made-up movie that they were going to see. It wasn't like an actual movie.
Yes.
Man,
But this one's specific because it's the episode where they get stuck waiting at the table.
Right,
and things like that. Yeah, I understand. So yeah, that's why this one is mentioned multiple times because of that episode kind of thing.
Right, and I'm trying to think because I know that there was also the one, like I know George goes to see Rochelle by accident because they were supposed to go see another movie. But I'm going to say that the movie they were supposed to see at the Chinese restaurant was Firestorm.
Well, it's not. I mean, Plan 9 from outer space.
Oh, damn. Because I remember Firestorm. I think Checkmate was one of the ones that George went to go see. All right. So here's third one from The Office. Ryan starts a fire, cooking something in the toaster oven. Now, while they're all out in the parking lot, because the fire department's in there trying to figure out where the smoke's coming from, they play two games out in the parking lot. Can you name one of the two games they play?
Yeah. Desert Island books, and Desert Island movies.
Well, Desert Island in general.
Yeah. Damn, what's the second game? I'm trying to hold on. Let me think.
Michael says he plays it every night before he goes to bed.
Oh, who would you do?
There you go.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember Michael saying, "Oh, I play that every night before I go to bed." That's amazing. All right, here we go. All right, now speaking of, we talked about this before the show. You talk about him hitting the golf balls into the thing. What brand of golf ball does George pull out of a whale's blowhole?
Titleist.
Yeah.
Kramer says, "Is that a Titleist?"
Yeah.
And what I love about that episode is when Kramer, before he goes down to the beach, he walks into the apartment and he goes, "Who wants to have some fun?" And Jerry and George are like, "Oh, I want to have some fun." He goes, "Hey, do you really want to have fun, or are you just saying you want to have fun?" And Jerry goes, "No, I actually want to have fun." George goes, "I'm just saying I want to have fun." All right, so question number 4 for you from The Office. What is Todd Packer's license plate?
Well hung.
Nice.
Yeah. Who the hell is William Hung? You a big William Hung fan?
All right, we are tied going to the last question.
All right, now I got to decide which one because I got a tiebreaker if I need it. I think.
Okay.
So I don't know which one I want to ask. I think this one may be easy. All right. What are the names of George's fictitious horses he tells the Rosses he owns?
I have no idea.
I knew that one would be like the hardest one, so I don't know. I feel like that's kind of dickish. I got another one if you want me to ask it.
I will save that one because.
All right. They were Snoopy and Prickly Pete.
Snoopy and his cousin.
Yeah.
All right. So your final question. If you get this one, you win the title here. If you don't, then we have to go to tiebreaker.
Right.
So when Michael goes to interview for a corporate job, he wears the woman's suit.
Mm-hmm.
What brand is it?
Oh. Give me a second. I know this.
I remember Michael, you didn't realize they had shoulder pads?
No, he opens it, and he goes, who makes it? And he opens it, and he says, is it Plush? Fuck. Damn, I don't know. Plush?
Mysterious.
Mysterious, that's right. Mysterious. Damn.
All right, tiebreaker questions. What do you got for a tiebreaker?
All right. Oh, shit, let's get it. All right. How much does Peterman spend to buy Kramer stories?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I should know it, but I don't, so I'm going to have to just take a guess. $500.
Oh, you weren't off that. $750.
Oh. All right.
It's off the top of the dome. I like it.
Yeah, off the top of the dome. I just got to think about what I know about The Office, and I guess see if you know.
See if I know. This should be interesting.
All right. So again, I think this one's an easy one. No, not about that. Okay. Toby gets hurt ziplining while he's retired / on vacation.
Yes.
What country is he in?
Colombia. Costa Rica. It
is Costa Rica.
Yeah. Sorry. Costa Rica. I'm an idiot. Yeah.
All right. So you win in overtime.
Woo!
All right. Hopefully it's as fun for everybody out there listening and watching.
Honestly, it's one of our fun again. I enjoy it the most. So even if they're not enjoying it, we're going to keep playing it.
Yeah, TV shows are so hard, man. They're so hard to do.
The Office trivia, I do actually bar Office trivia. So that one's a lot of fun for me.
First bit of news we're going to tackle. Becky Hammon gets to coach the Spurs, and it's the first time ever that a female coaches in the NBA. Now, I didn't see the whole. If I'm not mistaken, did Popovich get ejected and then she took over?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Popovich gets ejected in, I think it's the first, second quarter, something like that. And then as he's leaving, he points to her and he's like, "It's yours, you got it." And then she ended up coaching. And I mean, it's. I don't think anybody thought Becky Hammon couldn't coach. You know what I mean? She's obviously well respected for that team and in that circle. And I think now, I think she'll get some jobs here. I think soon, at least some job offers. You know what I mean? I really do think she will.
I do hope so. I think that she's a great coach, and I think that obviously working under Popovich for as long as she has, you learn a lot. And I think that she definitely is qualified. I'm glad it worked out that he was ejected and she took over, because initially when I saw it, what I thought had happened was that he had kind of given her the reins for the game. Now, it was against the Lakers, so there's no way he was going to give up.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I thought had happened, and that actually angered me a little bit. I felt like it was a cheap, all right, she's the first woman. Yeah. He's throwing her bone,
No, it was not. He argued a foul call pretty vigorously. I mean, it looked like it was a foul. He gets clipped in the head, honestly, and they didn't call it. And so he obviously gets teed up and then ejected, and then he points to Becky Hammon and says, "It's yours, take over."
I forgot to ask when we had Kevin on for the Hawks if he would think Becky Hammon would be a good coach for the Hawks. I was going to try to kind of sucker him into saying something sexist. Maybe we could.
Yeah, I know. Right? That would have been nice. To back him into a corner there almost.
I don't care what team. I'd take her as a head coach on any team.
I think I would as well. Obviously, you don't know what you're getting, I think, with a first-time head coach. But at the same time, you kind of know what you're getting with Becky Hammon, I think. Coming from that lineage she does with Pop, I think she's pretty safe to at least be a competent head coach. And then at that point, it's developing her own offense and making sure she can create something with the players around that she has, kind of thing like that.
More NBA news. Steph Curry gets a career-high 62 points against the Portland Trail Blazers. He had said something, I think it's kind of goofy, that he had said, like, oh, I heard all these people talking about whatever, and it motivated me to go out there. Like, no, you didn't. You can just do this. We've seen you do stuff like this before, even though it's a career high. He is the second oldest player ever to score 60. Did you see that?
That's wild. I did not see that. That's pretty wild.
Who's the oldest player to score 60?
It's got to be Kobe, right?
It is, yeah. Kobe Bryant, his last game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be Kobe.
He was 37, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I honestly don't know why we're talking about this, if I'm being honest. I truly don't. I mean, him, I get it's a career high, but I mean, him scoring and going off like this, I think he's going to have to do this for that team to succeed. They're not a good team over there. I feel like an asshole because Ken, right? That was a guy last week. Kevin, that's right. My apologies, Kevin. He obviously, we backed him into a corner on that trade deal and he couldn't say much.
What's up?
And sorry, I ended up sitting on my mic, and we couldn't say much. But he obviously teased that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson would possibly be like his, I think, ideal trade position with all the talent they have in Atlanta. And you bring somebody like Steph or Klay Thompson in, to Atlanta and blah blah blah. I mean, you bring Steph in with Trae Young. I mean, that backcourt's insane. I know they both kind of need the ball, but I think those two would actually coexist together extremely well. So. Steph, this is what Steph does. So I don't know why we're talking about it, truly.
No, because it's 60. So it's not every game somebody gets 60.
That's true. And he is the second oldest, so I get it. It is semi-relevant.
I know if it was 50, I probably wouldn't even have brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. So,
Tom Herman gets fired at Texas. Steve Sarkisian gets brought in as the head coach. And I think that, it's not a bad hire. I think that there was some talk, Urban Meyer to Texas, which was never going to happen.
Never, ever.
But it sounds like he's going to be taking the Jaguars' job. Everything I've seen has been kind of hinting towards that. Marone's fired now. I think they're going to probably announce him before the end of the week. I wouldn't be surprised that Urban Meyer will be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that said, Sarkisian, I think, is a good hire for Texas, honestly.
I think so, too. I think the program expected –
coach at Texas.
And they didn't get it. Todd Herman kind of underperformed, especially with kind of within the Big 12. They unfortunately lost the number one quarterback prospect, and he decommitted and went somewhere else. So that's unfortunate for Sarkisian. But I think Sarkisian's able to build an offense there and actually build an offense that'll succeed in the Big 12. That's kind of what he's known for. So I think that's a good hire for Texas.
Well, let me ask you, because he coached at Washington, right? Wasn't he the head coach there?
Yes, and then he was the offensive coordinator for USC for a while.
Okay, and what is – because I don't know the history. The deal with him getting drunk, or was he get a DUI or something?
I believe he got a drunk and disorderly. I don't think it was a DUI. I could be mistaken. But, I mean, people get drunk, man. It happens. I don't know. I think DUIs are more of a lack of maturity, I think, than they are like a knock on somebody. It's like, dude, you know how many of us, like adults, politicians, government officials, everybody included, goes out, has a couple drinks and drives home? Like, I think that's, and you also got to understand too, like, not understand, but you got to look into the amount that they blow and things like that. I think if they're blowing a 1.5 versus a 0.08, you know what I mean? Like things like that. But nonetheless, it's bad decisions, and you don't want that from your leaders. Now,
a side note to this story is that supposedly Nick Saban is looking at Adam Gase as the offensive coordinator for Alabama, which I actually don't think is a bad – I don't like him as the NFL head coach, but as an OC at Alabama, I think it's a good hire. You don't like it?
No.
He's got NFL experience as an OC and as a head coach.
I don't like anything Adam. I think Adam Gase is plutonium. He's just stay away, and you're going to catch the poison if you get near him.
Kind of like a Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, it's just I don't want any part of it.
All right. On to the NFL. Actually, so I have this. We're not talking about the Bills right now if you're tuning in. The first NFL news that I had was we mentioned drunk driving, and obviously Josh Jacobs gets into a car accident and blows that he's over the limit. Not exactly sure what the limit was that he blew or whatever. But the point that you sent this to me, and I sent you the quote from Albert Einstein when he said, I believe that two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. And and it's a fantastic quote, but it's so true in this case. Why, if you are a professional athlete, are you not being driven around if you're going to go drink somewhere?
That's what I truly don't understand. Like, I would pay, just a friend. Like, literally, you have so many of these people that leech onto you and want something from you. Pay them to be your sober driver. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's just retarded, honestly. It's retarded.
Yeah, I personally am so against drunk driving. It's one of my top level things because it's so avoidable,
Yes.
And when I go out, if I'm going to drink, even if I have a couple of drinks, I still want somebody to drive me home. I'm not going to go out, drink, and then drive home, even if I'm fine. I'm not going to. And I never am fine, by the way. If I'm going out to drink, I'm getting trashed.
Yeah, of course. You get drunk or you don't drink. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand it. I never will understand it. All right, so the Bills, we got to the NFL. It's 56-26. They end up 13-3. They're going to make the playoffs. But I think the bigger story in this game wasn't the Bills winning. It was 3 interceptions by Tua and just not really looking great.
Yeah, he's looking like a rookie quarterback, and you're going to get some highs and you're going to get some lows, and when you're playing against a team like the Bills, you're going to probably see a lot of lows. They're a good ball club, so again, I think they got a lot to look forward to. We'll go over our predictions. I don't think any of us thought the Dolphins were going to be this good of a team or make the playoffs. I think I had them at 7-9, I think, but we'll have to go back and see. I truly don't remember. And, I don't think any of us had them in a winning record. So this is, a good season for them. And, you mentioned with the way the season ended, they still get the number 3 overall pick, which will most likely turn out to be Penei Sewell. Just because I'm assuming the Jets will either trade that number 2 pick for a cache of picks or take Justin Fields. There's no way that it doesn't go Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields 1-2. So then the Dolphins end up with Penei Sewell, who's a gem left tackle, the best tackle prospect I've ever graded, and plug him right in. And that's just a perfect fit. So it's a win-win if you ask me.
We didn't get a touch on it the second time it happened, but the whole nonsense of having. Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah.
All right, something happened over here. There we go. All right. With Tua Tagovailoa, I keep saying Tago, it's Tagovailoa, right?
It's Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa, coming out of the game in the fourth quarter. I don't understand it. They did it twice. And the first time I thought, okay, maybe he was hurt. They're lying about him not being hurt. But the second time it happened, and this time, Fitzgerald, whatever it is, Fitzpatrick gets the win. I was just, I don't understand the whole pulling your quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Me either. It shows zero confidence. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. We didn't get a chance to talk about it live like after it happened. But we talked about it a lot over our group chat, and we said a lot. I'd have to go back and check it all, but yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So you make the decision to ride with this guy, and he's your quarterback. But then when it gets tough and it's crunch time, you take him out and you put the other guy in. And I don't know, that just, for me, if I'm the rookie quarterback and I'm like, man, this is my team, but it's clearly not my team. So I don't know. It's a shit show if you ask me.
If there's one label that I feel follows you your entire career, and you can ask LeBron James about this, it's not being clutch. And nothing says you're not clutch like the coach having to bring in a closing quarterback for you.
Oh, 100%. And the old adage is reigning true. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks. So
next game we have Lamar Jackson becomes the first quarterback in history to run for 1,000 yards twice. And so he does it in back-to-back seasons, which is pretty impressive, I think. I know he had an okay year throwing the ball. Not as good as last year. Last year, I think he had 36 touchdowns, 6 picks, something like that. This year, I think he had 24-6, 24-8. Still not bad, but back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I know you're not a big fan of his, but you can't even kind of say, hey, that's pretty good.
I'll say he's a really good running back. He is. He's really good. He's a really good running back. I'll give him that, man. I don't know what to say. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. I think he has proven that over the years, and that's kind of where I'm going to stick with that. We'll see what he can do in the playoffs this year. They were able to sneak in, so he may get ahead there. But I mean, yeah, he was 64% completion percentage. 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Not a bad year overall, but 73 quarterback rating. Again, he's a really good running back.
It's funny, and I have taken offense on Facebook when people call him a running back because I do think he's a very good quarterback. If you want to see a running back taking snaps, go to New England, all right? Because that's a guy who can do nothing, and I mean nothing but run the ball. At least Lamar Jackson can throw it. I mean, at least he throws for 200 yards a game. Yeah?
I mean, he can. They're just schemed throws, but yeah, I mean, he can, I guess.
Yeah. So
he's just not good at it.
Again, I disagree.
He's
not completing 55% of his passes. He's completing 64, 63%, which isn't
bad. I guarantee if you take play action out of that, he's completing 50% of his passes.
Well, I'm not going to take play action out of that, just like I won't take play action out when I talk about Josh Allen's completion percentage of 58 last year. So, obviously...
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, like Josh, if you're trying to compare these two, that's ridiculous because the way Josh Allen pushes the ball down the field versus the way Lamar Jackson pushes the ball down the field are two completely different things, too. Lamar Jackson doesn't push the ball down the field at all. So, I don't know.
They're in two different offenses. And
yes, I understand that, but... One's completion percentage can be inflated because of their offense they run, and one isn't. Is my point.
I'm saying if you swapped them and you kept the same offenses, so basically he's going to go run Buffalo's offense, and Josh Allen's going to go run.
Lamar Jackson would have a 58% completion percentage.
I think Lamar Jackson will be an MVP of the league, which he already has been. So
no, there's no way he needs that running in that offense to even succeed. There's no way he could pass the ball 35 times a game and succeed in the NFL.
But they have good running backs. Like he doesn't have to run. They can still run the ball, and he can be a game manager, but he doesn't have to run.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
Yes, he does. He has to run for that team to succeed. Why do you think he ran for 1,000 yards? He has to, or that team isn't good. They designed so many runs for him.
It's bad scheming.
No. Anyway. It won him an MVP. How is that bad scheming?
No, yeah, it worked last year. But I'm saying I don't like it. We talked about it last year. We don't like teams that use quarterbacks this way because it shortens their career span. I think 100%. You can use him other than the ways that they're using him. I think they're misusing him.
But he's shown he can't be a pocket passer. Like, he's shown that. He's shown he can't sit in the pocket, pass the ball 35 times a game, and succeed. When he does that, he loses games terribly. Like, anytime he falls behind and he's forced to throw, he looks worse. I just don't know. I don't agree with your statement.
Well, I don't agree with yours either.
Well, you're wrong, and I'm right. I have evidence. You have opinion.
All right. Well, my opinion is usually right. All right, moving on. Speaking of MVPs, Aaron Rodgers, all he does this past game is go out and throw for 4 touchdowns and no picks, giving him, I think, on the season, I have it written down here, actually. On the season, Aaron Rodgers has 44 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So, I mean, it goes back to, we talked about predictions. I remember when we did the NFC North, we had Brandon Combs on the show.
48, by the way. But it's okay.
40, okay.
Because of that 4.
Yeah. He mentioned, he's going to have one of those crappy Aaron Rodgers years. And I just thought, and you said, when has he ever had a crappy year? Ever?
And he hasn't. I mean, this year he led the league in completion percentage, touchdowns, touchdown percentage, average yards per attempt, quarterback rating, and QBR. He led the league in all of those stats this year. I mean, he's just amazing.
And I want to bring up, we talk about how he didn't have any weapons, right? And they went out and they drafted a quarterback in the first round instead of getting him. And they could have gotten him Chase Claypool, and they didn't. They went and they got him somebody else. So I was looking at his receivers, and I noticed that they all have a similar physical makeup. Like, his receivers are all 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds. With the exception of Devontae Adams, who's listed at 6'1". So he's actually the shortest of Aaron Rodgers' receivers. And I guess maybe that's why they've done so well. And Marquez Valdez Scantling, Robert Tonyan, who's a
tight end.
tight end. I know Alan Lazard, huge targets.
Yeah,
Alan
they are.
Lazard's a tight end?
What, Robert Tonyan's a tight end, not Alan Lazard.
No, yeah, I know. Okay, I knew that.
Yeah. They're bigger bodied players. Alan Lazard really came on this year and looked really well. Devontae Adams was just a freak of fucking nature this year. The guy was just unstoppable. And I mean, him and Aaron Rodgers' connection is just special. I don't think there's any way Rodgers loses this MVP. I think he's the clear cut MVP this year, honestly.
I think so.
Which I called because I'm a genius.
You did. That was your prediction. He was the NFL MVP, and like you said, 48-5 is just insane. 4,000 yards, 70.3 completion percentage.
Yeah.
So
he has 412 touchdowns and 89 interceptions. He has 2 years in his entire career where he has had more than 10 interceptions. 111 and 113, and the 13 was his rookie season, the first year as a starter. I mean, the guy is just so insanely efficient with the ball. It's just scary. I mean, I've said it. I've had him in my top 5 for a long time. I think he's the most gifted passer we've ever seen in the NFL. You think it's Dan Marino. I think it's Aaron Rodgers. But, I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers.
I think, and I've said this before in previous shows, if Julio Jones gets moved, I want him going to Green Bay.
Oh, that would be so amazing. Oh, my God.
With him and Devontae Adams on the outside. Then
my God. That would be scary.
All right. So next game we have, or next topic, Justin Herbert and the San Diego Chargers. So the Chargers go out, they beat the Chiefs, but it was the Mahomes Chiefs because they'd already locked up the 1 seed for the playoffs. So there's really no need to.
There was no need to play him.
Which some people said that cost him the MVP, but I still think he would have beaten Rodgers for the MVP.
No, I don't think so either.
But the question really becomes Justin Herbert, which is Justin, because we look at the numbers, right? He has second most passing yards for a rookie, first passing touchdowns, second best completion percentage ever as a rookie. Do you know who has the best completion percentage as a rookie quarterback?
Jameis Winston?
Dak Prescott.
Ooh.
Close. But no, so my question for you is this. Is Justin Herbert the greatest rookie quarterback in NFL history?
No, he's not even going to win Rookie of the Year.
Who's the one Rookie of the Year?
Justin Jefferson is.
Oh, yeah, but that's not a quarterback.
I know that. But that's how can he be the best rookie quarterback ever if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year? I don't think he is.
One of the best rookie receivers of all time.
No, I know. I don't think he's the best rookie quarterback ever.
I don't know how you make a case for somebody else.
I mean, I don't know. That's really a question I wasn't prepared to answer, so I'd have to go and actually look at and things like that. I mean, he didn't win enough ball games to make the playoffs. Sure. Andrew Luck made the playoffs his first season, I believe. Okay. So I would weigh that pretty heavily. I know Jameis Winston holds the record for most passing yards in a season by a rookie.
No, he does not.
He does not?
Andrew Luck does.
No, Jameis Winston, I'm pretty sure broke that.
You are pretty sure wrong. I looked it up before I went on the show and I wrote it down here.
I want to see this. Most passing yards.
So I want you to say I'm right. I love when you say I'm right on the show. It is Andrew Luck. And then number 2 is Justin Herbert.
Damn, Jameis Winston is 4th. That's wild. Oh, that's what he did. Okay.
Who's number 1?
It's Andrew Luck. This is the guy who. You know how many times I've corrected you this show alone? We're going to start hitting the negative buzzer every time you're wrong, too.
Well, I have access to the buzzers. How about that?
Yeah.
No, I tell you. So he's at the second most passing yards of all time for any rookie.
Well, then, I'd still probably have Andrew Luck because of the playoffs and the most passing yards of all time.
So even though he threw half as many touchdowns. Half.
Yeah, I don't give it. He won.
Okay. So he's a game manager.
He won football games.
He was a game manager. So did Brad Johnson.
And Brad Johnson's better than Justin Herbert.
Oh, you're mind. Right.
What?
We have gone completely off the road.
You don't think Brad Johnson's better than Justin Herbert?
I would take Justin Herbert right now over Brad Johnson's best year of his career.
You're nuts. What if Justin Herbert literally collapses and turns into nothing?
Then he'll probably still have the same career numbers as Brad Johnson.
Except a Super Bowl.
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay, that's the reason you play the game.
I have Dan Marino as the best quarterback of all time, right? I mean, well, no, I don't. I have Tom Brady, but Dan Marino is the best passer of all time.
Nobody's negating. The best passer is just the most talented. It's not about the greatest.
Okay, well, in my opinion, which is almost always right, is that Justin Herbert is the greatest rookie quarterback that has ever played the game of football.
All right, well, you're wrong.
Well,
that's twice now you've been wrong this show, and once, and you lost the game.
All right. Yeah, it was overtime. I'll take it.
You're on a bad streak here.
And I had to come up with one off the top of my head. You have to look up yours.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Derrick Henry, speaking of overrated. No, okay. Derrick Henry runs for 2,000 yards. He becomes the 8th player to do so. It's the second time he's won the rushing title. And I thought he was going to – no, I didn't think he was going to break the record because he ran for 250 yards and he still came up way short.
Yeah.
But, I mean – still pretty impressive. What do you think about Derrick Henry?
It's extremely impressive to watch him run.
King Henry?
He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's physical. He's got good vision, good burst. I mean, it's really fun to watch him play football. I mean, look at that. He runs away from guys, and he's so much bigger than everybody. It's just wild. This offense is designed for him to succeed. So, good for them. That game was wild, by the way.
So he was, like I said, it's back-to-back rushing titles. First player to do it since 2006-2007. Who was the last player to win back-to-back rushing titles?
Sean Alexander?
That would be. I just wanted to like LaDainian Tomlinson.
That makes sense. I almost said AP, honestly, but
he's the last one run for 2000.
Yeah, I knew that. Damn. Yeah.
Which I did get to bring up the fact that he's a giant piece of shit, which I love doing as many times as possible.
Yeah, let's keep doing that as many times as we can.
Carson Wentz. So this is Carson Wentz. The reports came out before their game that supposedly his and Peterson's relationship is fractured. I'm guessing this came out of Carson Wentz's camp, and my belief is that his camp is leaking that he believes that because he's trying to get Peterson outed so he can win back the starting job in Philadelphia.
I don't know. I saw that he's requested a trade because their relationship is fractured beyond repair, is what I have seen. I think they get rid of Wentz before they get rid of Peterson, if I'm being honest.
Well, my only thing with it is that, Wentz is so hard to get rid of because of all that dead cap money. He's got so much guaranteed money. So he hasn't even started his contract. He hasn't started the new contract yet. So next year will be the first year of the new contract. If they were to move him, it's like $85 million in dead cap money. So it's so difficult for them to move him that I think that he's using this to say, listen, me and Peterson have this fractured relationship. I want to get traded so I can go somewhere where the coach I trust, whatever. And I think that he's trying to pressure Philly to kick Peterson to the road because I do think that he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
I don't know if you're going to get the fan base behind that decision, though. With the way Jalen Hurts has played down the stretch and things like that, I just don't know if they would get behind getting rid of Doug Peterson. And you'd have to essentially get rid of Jalen Hurts at that point.
Not necessarily. I mean, you said backup quarterbacks is the second most or one of the most important positions.
Yeah, it's definitely a top 10 position in my opinion, but I don't think that. I don't think like at that point you're waiting for Carson Wentz to screw up because you have a guy that you can put directly in. I don't love that situation.
Well, speaking of the Eagles, and we talked about this too with Tua Tagovailoa getting pulled in the fourth quarter. Well, in a close game, Jalen Hurts gets yanked out of the game. And Doug Peterson puts in, was it Sudfeld or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Nate Sudfeld.
He's like, Nate has been here for 4 years, and I just felt like we needed to get him some snaps. Well, you couldn't have gotten him snaps in week 5 or week 10 or week 11. Here we are, the last game of the season. And you're like, let's put him in now. We have a chance to win the game. I think this was a total try to lose the game play.
I do too. But the thing is they're hurting one NFC East team to help another, so it's how much really are they tanking? Because them losing essentially, or the Washington winning essentially kept the Giants out of the playoffs.
Mhm.
So it's who does Washington hate more? Do we think they hate the Giants more than they hate their division foe in Washington? That's the only if they weren't playing another division foe, I'd say it was, but it's hard to ignore that they purposely lost that game.
I'm not saying they purposefully lost to spite anybody or to favor anybody. They purposefully lost to jump 4 draft picks.
See, I don't think so.
Because if they don't lose, if they win that game, I believe that then they pick behind the Cowboys and the Giants. Now they move up ahead of them.
Well, they wouldn't have picked behind the Giants if they win that game, because the Giants would have been in the playoffs if they win that game. If the Eagles win, the Giants are in the playoffs. But yeah, they may have picked behind the Redskins at that point. So they may have been behind the Redskins and the Cowboys. That I'm not sure of. Nonetheless, I don't know. I think they did it despite the Giants. Fuck the Giants. I'm just joking. Little Sammy and Big Sammy, I'm glad I don't have to shave my beard off, though.
Prediction time. Before the season started, Sully, Jesse, and I made some predictions from division to division, and we wanted to take a look at how we did, and some of us did better than others.
I think I crushed it, if I remember.
Well, all of us took some flyers, and you had some flyers that didn't play out as well. So I started things with the AFC East. This is where I'm going to take my lumps right off the bat.
Hard.
Right? The AFC East, if we look at the predictions, I had the New England Patriots going 11-5, and they went 7-9. And you guys had them 9-7 and 6-10, so a lot closer than where we are. We all had the Bills at 10-6. And yet they went 13-3. So you guys both had them winning the division. Mm-hmm. Like you said, none of us had the Dolphins with a winning record. I had them at 5-11. They went 10-6. We all thought the Jets were going to suck. I had them as the best record of the three of us. But I think the biggest mistake that I made here is, we all picked our MVP picks for the division. And I picked, I think, N'Keal Harry to have 83 catches, 1,500 yards, and 14 touchdowns. He came up just shy.
Just short. In I think every category. Yeah. Do we have his season-ending numbers?
I did not write them down, but had you guys.
I gotta get those. I'm sorry.
You guys both had Josh Allen, so I mean, you guys were right. I think on that.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I wish you would have done MVP. I wanted to know who we had as our least valuable players.
Oh yeah, I can't. Probably someone from the Jets. I think I probably had.
N'Keal Harry coming away with what? What did you say his final numbers were going to be? How many catches? 83 catches. So he finished the season with 33, just 50 below that. He was close.
Right.
How many yards?
1,500 yards.
He finished the season with 309 yards, just 1,200 off pace. He was close.
And, 14 touchdowns.
All right, and he had 2. So, I mean, he's worked those numbers up, man. You got there.
I missed by a sliver on that one. But, it happens, you know.
It does.
The AFC West, sticking in the AFC, we all had the Chiefs winning at 12-4. They went 14-2. Whatever, they're the best team in the NFL. I think even better than Green Bay. Then the Raiders, I had them at 8-8. They went 8-8, which is perfect.
Nice.
You had them at 7-9. Jesse 6-10. Chargers 7-9. I had them at 9-7. Jesse 6-10 again. And then the Broncos went 5-11. I had him at 9-7. Jesse had him at 10-6 though.
10-6 was wild to me. I don't know where he was going with that one.
And let's see, our MVPs, we all had Mahomes, except for Jesse had Clyde Edwards-Helaire because just kind of do something different.
Which makes sense. I mean, and then Mahomes, obviously. I mean, that was the easy pick.
The NFC South or AFC South. We have the Titans went 11-5. I had them at 7-9. You guys had them 10-6. I have Jesse at 10-4. I don't know why. 2 games 10-4. I must not have edited those correctly.
Yeah, it's 10-6 and 10-6. I remember.
10-6, yeah. The Colts 11-5. You had them 12-4. So you're right there. The Texans 8-8, 8-8, 7-9. They went 4-12. And of course, you had 2-14 for the Jaguars. Went 1-15. That's a really good call right there.
I mean, I knew that team was going to be atrocious. I looked at their schedule and they were bad. So far, I've nailed every division winner too. By the way, let's go.
Me and Jesse had them at 8-8 each.
I know, like y'all are both wild. Jesse was stomping the floor for him. I remember I was clowning him, and then you come over and give the same number of wins. I was like, "What is happening in this fucking thread right now?" It was so wild to me because that team is bad. God, they were a bad football team.
NFC East, we've got. This was a horrible.
Why would you just skip the AFC North?
We didn't do the AFC.
Oh, we didn't do the AFC North. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
We got into the whole last dance or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway,
God, we fucked this one up.
The NFC East was a disaster. 7-9 is the winner, and you had 2-14 for the Washington football team.
For the team that ended up winning the division.
I had a 6-10, so I wasn't too far off. I had the Cowboys at 13-3 though. They went 6-10. But you guys had 10-6 and 11-5.
No. Mine should be flipped, man. I definitely had them at 6-10, not 10-6.
No, you had the Giants at 6-10. You had the Eagles at 10-6, and they went 4-11-1.
Yeah.
And Jesse had him at 6-10.
Jesse nailed that, but he was all over Carson Wentz was bad.
He still hates Carson Wentz.
I know, and I got to give him some credit. Carson Wentz looked awful. So Jesse, you were right about Carson Wentz this year. He was bad. You were right. The season's over. You were right. He never turned it around.
The NFC West. This is the show we had Dylan on, and made our predictions. I didn't have his on here, but that's fine. We had the Seahawks, all of us 12-4. They went 12-4. Yay for us!
Woo.
And then we have the Rams 10-6. I had them at 4-12.
I don't know how. I can't believe I had them at 6-10. Looking back, I mean that team has so much talent on it. That's wild.
Well, because we were looking at the 49ers and the Cardinals being.
And the Cardinals is a much better football teams. Yeah.
I mean, I had them 11-5. Out of the three of us, I had the highest.
Cardinals is definitely my biggest. Oh yeah. Who was the NFC MVPs or the MVPs of those last two divisions? We didn't even do that.
Oh, the MVPs of the NFC East was we all had Dak, and he got injured.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
He would have won. I mean, he was throwing for 450.
Yeah, he was blowing it up.
But anyway, so here we have the Seahawks, and then of course the 49ers screwed all of us at 12-4, 11-5, 9-7. Jesse
9-7. Jesse was close there.
MVP wise, I think for the NFC West, I had Nick Bosa, so
nice.
That backfired. You guys both. No, you had Kyler.
I had Kyler. Yeah,
he had Russ. So
yeah.
So just what I wanted Kyler, but oh well. NFC North, we had Brandon on. This was a funny episode. Actually, it was funnier, I think, because we had Dylan on next. And when we told him that Brandon picked the Bears to go 11-5, I think Dylan went, "Oh no, somebody needs to tell him." Like they're not.
Yeah. Oh no.
But the NFC North, it finishes up Green Bay 13-3. I had him at 12-4. Jesse at 12-4. You had him at 10-6, but still winning the division. Mm-hmm. And then we have 5-11, 5-11 for the Bears, 9-7. Again, Jesse, good job. 8-8 for the Bears. They're pretty close. 7-9, 7-9, 9-7. So you and I nailed the Vikings, and then the Lions 5-11. We all missed that boat.
Yeah, I mean, I had more faith in I think Matthew Stafford, and he just looks bad. I mean, he just looks bad. He's got to go. He's got to get out of there.
All three of us had Aaron Rodgers in that one.
Shocker.
Yeah, and then except for Brandon, who said that he's going to have a shitty Aaron Rodgers year.
Yeah.
And then we have the NFC South. This is your division. So we had the Bucks. All of us had the Bucks 12-4. They went 11-5, so not too far off. It was the Saints that went 12-4 though. Jesse had him at 11-5, so he's right there.
Right there.
5-11. Jesse had him exactly at 5-11 on the Panthers.
Yeah.
I had 9-7. You had 7-9. And of course, I had 3-13 on the Falcons. So that's right there. 5-11 for you, same. And then Jesse 9-7. He expected them to do a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. I just went back and watched it when he was bashing us for hating on Matty Ice, and Matty Ice had probably his worst season ever. He's out of there. The decline has begun for Matty Ice.
See, I still think he's a decent quarterback. And I think that just needs more weapons.
Decent doesn't win you football games, or doesn't win you championships at least.
Well,
I mean, it does if you're Brad Johnson,
I guess, or who's going Trent Dilfer,
or Lamar Jackson,
Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the NFC South, our MVPs. I had Christian McCaffrey. He got hurt. Couldn't really do anything about that. You had Tom Brady, and this was actually your prediction was 4,200 yards, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yep.
He had 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So you're right there. I mean, 400 more yards. You're not gonna
I was pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that prediction. I'm not going to lie. I remember you were ragging me. You were like, he's only ever done that once. And I was like, yeah, when he had weapons, he can do it again now because he has weapons. I remember we had that whole conversation, and I was right. Hit that button. Hit that button.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
And then Jesse had Mike Evans, which I'll be honest.
Wasn't a bad one.
I don't think Mike Evans works well with Tom Brady.
What?
because
he's his favorite target this year.
I think his favorite targets are Antonio Brown and then Gronk in the red zone.
So you do know Mike Evans is the first wide receiver ever in the history of football to have 7 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start his career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. I mean,
only one of those with Tom, but all right. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he still had another 1,000-yard season. I think he had another 8 touchdowns this year too. I mean, he was the most productive receiver on our football team. So I mean,
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he had 70 for 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. The guy balled out.
Yeah, I don't like him. I like him, but I just don't like him. I like him, just not in the system. All right, so that's kind of where we ended up on our predictions. I mean, some of us, again, I'm really.
Some of us did better than others. Me, than you. Yeah.
Well, and the Patriots is really what killed me. That was.
Yeah, that one. And I remember you guys telling me, "You sure you want to change your pick?" And blah blah blah. Man, I was right. If they'd have finished exactly 6-10, I'd have fucking lost. I know I had a bet with somebody that they weren't going to win 8 games. I just can't remember who it was at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I know
it wasn't you.
No, we had the N'Keal Harry bet, which, like I said, I just missed it. I almost won that one.
Yeah, just missed that one. I'm now eagerly awaiting my Devin White jersey for that one. So,
working on that.
Yeah,
which you should have worn. I got him a Tom Brady jersey. Everybody,
he did, and he did. He got me one for Christmas, and I didn't wear it. I appreciate it, guys. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, Wayne. I regifted it to my dad. So. Okay. He needed a jersey. I got him one, and I knew the Devin White was coming. So that's I told you that's really the one I wanted, not the Tom. But the Tom was the bet, so I appreciate you holding through to your bet.
Well, that was a Christmas present. So.
Yeah, exactly. I get you.
However you want to work it.
Yeah, I get you. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you the truth, honestly. Yeah.
You can tell I'm furious.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. But yeah, because it came from you, you know what I'm saying? He goes, why is my jersey marked from Wayne? And I was like, well, Wayne gets the jerseys, you know what I'm saying? That's the jersey guy. So yeah. All
right, cool. Obviously, pretty early on the show today. I don't know, any final thoughts? Anything we missed? We got Josh Jacobs in there.
Anthony Lynn getting fired.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't get that one at all. I think it's a terrible firing, honestly. I mean, I think they've looked better down the stretch too. I don't know. I think it's a bad firing.
Now, unless they have somebody in mind who's interested in going there.
That's what I think it is. Truthfully, I think Eric Bieniemy is going to end up there, if I'm being honest. We've talked about it. Eric Bieniemy's now been linked I sent you the message today with what jobs was it?
Lions and Falcons.
Yeah, Lions, Jets, Falcons, I think it is. But now with the Chargers job opening, I think the Chargers job's the best job out of those jobs. So, I mean, it's the one that's got a set quarterback, so I think he'd jump all over that. And him, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. I mean, Hunter Henry could be his little Travis Kelce in that offense, and I think that's the best spot for Eric Bieniemy, and I think he ends up there, honestly.
I don't think that the New York Jets is a bad job. I mean, I think we're working for Woody Johnson and working in New York, but as far as what they have, and they've got the number 2 pick now, I think that it's actually they got 2 first-round picks. They got the Jamal Adams pick. Yeah. So they've got a pretty solid foundation to build with.
I agree. And honestly, like you said, if somebody comes in and think they can work with Sam Darnold, then they've really got a good foundation because somebody's going to pay the house for Justin Fields at that point. So then they'll be able to get probably multiple firsts this year and next year, so you can kind of reload that franchise. So they're not in a terrible spot. I think it's more of a favorable spot for a GM, if I'm not lying, because as a coach, you got to come in and you're kind of linked to this quarterback and you want to get your own and things like that. And so they may have to invest in a quarterback now and not be able to invest in the future. So we'll see, but it's not a bad situation. It's not like I would never want to go to Detroit right now. I wouldn't at all.
So if you take Fields at 2, what kind of return do you get for Sam Darnold? Do you get a first? I don't think maybe a third.
No, I think you get a Josh Rosen deal. You get a second for sure. Okay. I think 100% you may get a second for sure. Even if it's a late second, I think you end up getting a second. But you're looking at moving him before that spot because obviously the second you take Justin Fields, you lose all leverage when trading the quarterback. You know what I mean? So
he's still on a rookie deal, so you're not really up against.
I know, but nonetheless, teams know that, hey, we know you're not going to actually start him. So, like, what do you really want for him realistically? So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I've always looked at it's because I look at it either way. Like if I'm the Jets, I'm like, listen, you're right, we're not going to start him, but I also don't have to trade him. So,
100%.
Either knock my socks off, or I'll just keep him as a backup.
I mean, if they can move and still stay in a spot to get a Jamar Chase or a Devontae Smith or a Jalen Waddle, then I think they are in a good spot. I mean, I think they'd love to get a tackle, but truthfully, once you move down, you're not going to get the Penei Sewell, and I don't know if Darisaw is going to do enough to move into the top 10, or Sam Cosmi is, or Alex Leatherwood is. So,
right, and I don't think you need. I mean, I understand that Penei Sewell is like a generational offensive lineman, but like Mekhi Becton looked really good this year as the blindside left tackle. I mean, he looks really good, and so I think you can get another tackle if that's really the direction you want to go. I think you can get one of those mid first round tackles would be fine. Although, like you're saying, I think that if they can move down and not move out of the spot where they could get a weapon, a wide receiver, and then maybe further down at the bottom of the first, maybe a running back, because I think Frank Gore's done.
I agree.
100 years old anyway.
If they stay at 2 and take Penei Sewell, it's a disaster pick, and that's coming from a guy who, I mean, I can't say enough amazing things about Penei Sewell, but you either move down and get the house for Justin Fields, or you take Justin Fields. You don't take a tackle there. I mean, you just can't. You just can't.
Now, if they came away, let's say with, I don't think Jamar Chase, and that's a little too high. Well, let's say they come away with Waddle. All right, like they kind of get like 8-9 range, right? Mm-hmm. And then at the bottom of the round, they get Najee Harris. I mean,
I think at the end maybe there too. So if they get either one, I think he will. I think because I don't think the Seahawks are going to do very well in the playoffs. So I think they're going to be at like the 26 range, and I think you can get Travis Etienne at 26.
Okay, I mean that'd be pretty solid.
If you can end up with that, I think that's a super win for that first round. I really do. Now I don't love first round running backs, so I probably wouldn't take Travis Etienne at 26. I would honestly probably take another receiver or something along that defensive front, or something, not the defensive front, but the defensive secondary or something like that. But yeah.
Now, I think that we've talked ad nauseum, I think, about our draft strategies and building a franchise. And this is obviously a franchise that has a lot of holes that you need to fill. And I think this is no shock, if I get 2 first-round picks there, I'm taking offensive line, both in the first round.
See, I probably don't, only because I like cornerback. I think it's an extremely important position. I also don't like offensive linemen translating from the first round. It's a tough position to translate successfully. I mean, I definitely value it. So,
well, let me ask you this. Let's say at 2. I guess it's a huge fail if they stay at 2 and they take Penei Sewell, right? But let's say that they said, listen, we just can't trade lower than that. We're going to lose him. I mean, 3 is not trading up to 2, so we have to take him here if we really want him. If they're sold on him, that's what they want. Mm-hmm. So they take him. They got him. Now Mekhi Becton probably moves to the right tackle spot.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell's at left tackle. And then at the bottom of the round, you get Wyatt there from Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, your offensive line's looking really good at that point.
They are looking. I mean, yes, they are. They look extremely talented. I mean, at that point, then you're putting all your basket into Sam Darnold and maybe acquiring somebody in talent and free agency and something like that. Personally, I'd rather get a talented free agent tackle and then draft a guard in the 3rd round, who will succeed. I think has just likely as a chance to succeed as Wyatt Davis does. So I guess that's kind of my thought process. It's more or less like positional value and where you can get those guys. So if you look into the NFL, and every successful edge rusher, every one of them essentially is a first round talent. He just is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just where you draft edge talent, is you draft it in the first round or you pay out the ass in free agency. Very rarely do you get a 6th round pick that turns out to be a stud as an edge rusher. Same thing can be said about, like cornerback talent. There are very few hits in like the 6th, 7th round. Most are 1st or 2nd round picks. Offensive linemen, you're going to hit all over the place, kind of things like that. So it's kind of positional value. Quarterbacks, likely you're going to be overall. But now it's tough to dictate because there are outliers at every spot, but still.
For sure. And what makes me think about it is you said that it's very, very difficult to get a late round corner, like a good corner late round. It's very rare, right?
Yeah.
And yet we look at the New England Patriots, who went from Malcolm Butler undrafted to J.C. Jackson undrafted. I'm like, who is scouting the defensive backs for them?
No, they've historically done very well in the secondary over there. But I mean, to be fair, you look at Stephon Gilmore, first round pick. You know what I mean? Jalen Ramsey, first round pick. Tre'Davious White, first round pick. And that's, those are the top three corners in the league probably right now. You know what I mean? And those guys are just, again, there's always going to be outliers. And especially with New England, they scout that position extremely well. For all their hits on the wide receiver position, they nail the cornerback and secondary position, I think. So.
All right. Well, that is our show. Like, Saturday, we have the big mock draft. It's awesome. Tune in. Do not miss it. Watch the video. You don't want to miss the video.
Watch the video.
And then that's going to be a lot of fun. And as well, I have some trivia for you. I'll bring it up in the mock draft as well. Wyatt Davis, we talked about it offline. Mm-hmm. His dad is Dwayne Davis, who Alvin Mack from the program is Wyatt Davis' dad.
That is so cool, man. That's nuts, dude.
All right, so cool. Thanks, everybody. Join us. Again, I'll have Sully throw it to Kenny Smith here.
Ooh, 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, why not?
All right. I like it. Kenny, where you at?